Gordon always pulled the big express. He was proud of being the only engine strong enough to do so. It was full of important people, like Sir Topham Hatt, and Gordon was seeing how fast he could go. "Hurry, hurry, hurry," he said. "Trickety-trot, trickety-trot, trickety-trot," said the coaches. In a minute, Gordon would see the tunnel, where Henry stood bricked up and lonely. Oh dear, why did I ever worry about the rain spoiling my lovely coat of green paint? I'd like to come out of the tunnel soon. But Henry didn't know how to ask. "I'm going to poop at Henry," said Gordon. He was almost there when... And there was proud Gordon going slower and slower in a cloud of steam. His driver stopped the train. "What has happened to me?" asked Gordon. "I feel so weak." "You've burst your safety valve," said the driver. "You can't pull the train anymore." "Oh dear," said Gordon. "We were going so nicely too. And look, there's Henry laughing at me." Everyone came to see Gordon. Said Sir Topham Hatt. "These big engines are always causing me trouble. Send for another engine at once." While the conductor went to find one, they uncoupled Gordon, who had enough puff to slink onto a siding out of the way. "You know, being stuck in a tunnel sucks, but watching this is peak. Oh, shut up, you old square wheels." Back at the big station, Edward was the only engine left. "I'll come and try." "Oh, are you serious?" said Gordon. "That's no use. Edward can't push the train." Kind Edward puffed and pushed and pushed and puffed, but he couldn't move the heavy coaches. "Told you," said Gordon. Why not let Henry try?" Yes," said Sir Topham Hatt. "I will." "Will you help pull this train, Henry?" "Oh, yes," said Henry. When Henry had got steam up, he puffed out. He was dirty and covered in cobwebs. "Oh, I'm so stiff! I'm so stiff!" he groaned. "Have a good run to ease your joints and find a turntable," said Sir Topham Hatt. When Henry came back, he felt much better. Then they coupled him up. "Peep, peep," said Edward. "I'm ready." "Peep, peep, peep," said Henry. "So am I. Pull hard, we'll do it. Pull hard, we'll do it." They puffed together. "We've done it together, we've done it together," said Henry and Edward. "You've done it, hooray! You've done it, hooray!" sang the coaches. Everyone was excited. Sir Topham Hatt leaned out the window to wave to Edward and Henry, but the train was going so fast that his hat blew off into a field where a goat ate it for tea. They never stopped till they came to the station at the end of the line. The passengers all said thank you, and Sir Topham Hatt promised Henry a new coat of paint. On their way home, Edward and Henry helped Gordon back to the sheds. All three engines are now great friends. Henry doesn't mind the rain now. He knows that the best way to keep his paint nice is to not run in the tunnels, but to ask his driver to rub him down when the day's work was over. When Thomas puffed along his branch line, he always looked forward to something special. The lovely countryside, the fields, and the sight of the river. As he rumbled over the bridge, he would see people fishing. Thomas often wanted to stay and watch, but his driver said, "No, what would Sir Topham Hatt say if we were late?" Fine, f my feelings then. Every time he met another engine, he would say, "I want to fish." But they all had the same answer. "Engines don't go fishing." Stupid. Why does everyone hate me? One day, he stopped as usual to take on water at the station by the river. "Out of order." "Bother," said Thomas. "I'm thirsty." "Never mind," said his driver. "We'll get some water from the river." "Ooh, like fishing?" said Thomas. Sure." They found a bucket and some rope and went to the bridge. Then the driver let the bucket down to the water. The bucket was old and had 5 holes. So they had to fill it up, pull it up, and empty it into Thomas's tank as quickly as they could, several times over. They finished at last. That's good," puffed Thomas, and Annie and Clarabelle ran happily behind. Suddenly, Thomas began to feel a pain in his boiler. Steam began to hiss in his safety valve in an alarming way. "There's too much steam," said his driver. "Oh dear," groaned Thomas. "I'm going to burst! I'm going to burst!" They quickly damped down his fire and struggled on. "Oh, I've got such a pain! I've got such a pain!" Thomas hissed. They stopped just outside the last station, uncoupled Annie and Clarabelle, and ran Thomas, who was still hissing fit to burst, on a siding right out of the way. Then, while the conductor telephoned for an engine inspector, the driver found notices in large letters, which he hung on Thomas in front and behind. "Danger. Keep away." Soon, the inspector and Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Cheer up, Thomas," they said. "We'll soon put you right." The driver told them what had happened. "So the feed pipe is blocked," said the inspector. "I'll just take a look inside the tanks." He climbed up and peered in. Then he came down. Excuse me, sir. Please look inside the tank and tell me what you see." "Certainly, Inspector," replied Sir Topham Hatt. He clambered up, looked in, and nearly fell off in surprise. "Inspector," he whispered, "can you see fish?" "What?" "Goodness gracious me! How did fish get in there, driver?" We must have fished them from the river with our bucket," replied Thomas's driver. "Well, Thomas, so you and your driver have been fishing. But fish don't suit you. We must get them out." They all took turns fishing into Thomas's tank, while Sir Topham Hatt looked down and told them how to do it. When they had caught all the fish, they had a lovely picnic supper of fish and chips. That's good," said Sir Topham Hatt. "But, like I said, fish don't suit you, Thomas, so you mustn't do it again." "No, sir, I won't," said Thomas sadly. "Engines don't go fishing. It's too uncomfortable." "Inspector, would you like to go for some ice cream after this?" "Sure." Inspector and Topham enjoyed some ice cream, and Sir Topham Hatt ate all of it. The inspector didn't get any, because Sir Topham Hatt's a fat ass. Anyways, it's time for the next episode. I think you'll like this one, because I've never done this one before. Well, I haven't done the other ones before, so I guess that's nothing new. Yeah. Daisy the Diesel railcar's work in the countryside was full of surprises, but she was frightened of bulls and cows, and she remained very lazy and stubborn. One day, Toby brought Henrietta to the station. Percy was grumpily shunting. "Hello, Percy. I see Daisy's left the milk behind again." "Ugh, I'll have to make a special trip with it, I suppose. Anyone would think I have nothing to do," grumbled Percy. "Tell you what," replied Toby. "I'll take the milk and you fetch my cars." Their drivers and station master agreed. Percy had never been to the quarry before. He began ordering the freight cars about. "Hurry along," he said. The freight cars grumbled to each other. "This is Toby's place. Percy's got no right to poke his funnel up here and push us around." They whispered and passed the word. "Pay Percy back. Pay Percy back." "Come along," puffed Percy. "No nonsense." "We'll give him nonsense," giggled the freight cars. But they followed so quietly that Percy thought they were under control. Suddenly, they saw a notice ahead. All trains stopped and pinned down brakes. "Peep, peep! Brake conductor, please!" But before he could check them, the freight cars surged ahead. On, they cried. "Help! Help!" whistled Percy. The man on duty at the crossing rushed to warn traffic with a red flag, but it was too late to switch Percy to the runaway siding. Frantically trying to grip the rails, Percy slid into the yard. "Peep, peep! Look out!" The brake van was in smithereens. Percy's driver and fireman had jumped clear, but Percy was stranded. Next day, Sir Topham had arrived. Toby and Daisy helped to clear away the wreckage, but Percy remained on his perch of the freight cars. "We must now try," said Sir Topham Hatt, "to run the branch line with Toby and a diesel. You have put us in an awkward predicament, Percy." "I'm sorry, sir." "You must stay there till we're ready," continued Sir Topham Hatt, "and you really must be more careful with freight cars." Percy sighed. The freight cars groaned beneath his wheels. He quite understood about the awkward predicament. Sir Topham Hatt spoke severely to Daisy, too. "My engines work hard. I send lazy engines away." Daisy was ashamed. "However, Toby says you worked hard after Percy's accident, so you shall have another chance."
"Thank you, sir," said Daisy. "I will work hard. Toby says he'll help me."
"Excellent. What Toby doesn't know about branch line problems isn't worth knowing. Our Toby is an experienced engine." The very next day, Thomas came back, and Percy was sent away to be mended.
"Everything hurts."
"I know, Percy." Annie and Clarabelle were delighted to see Thomas again, and he took them for a run at once. All were now friends, and Toby has taught Daisy a great deal. She shoot a cow the other day all by herself. That should show you, doesn't it? One day, Percy arrived in the quarry to collect some stone for his cars. Snow and frost lay everywhere. There was not a sound to be heard. Percy ventured further. He found Mavis, the new diesel engine, resting in the shelter of some rocks. "Cheer up, Mavis," he whistled. Mavis was still remembering the trouble she had had with some cars. "Manager says I don't listen to his advice. He says I've got no business jauntering down Toby's line. Toby's an old fusspot." "Ah, hell no. You listen here. Toby has forgotten more about cars than you will ever know," replied Percy. "You must put the cars where he wants them, then you'll be a really useful engine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to take these stones to the harbor." Mavis liked Percy, but she still wouldn't listen to his advice. "Why shouldn't I go on Toby's line?" she grumbled. Now, the siding arrangements at the quarry were awkward. To put the cars where Toby wanted them, Mavis would have to make several journeys in and out of the sidings. She started making a plan. "If we could use the tiniest bit of Toby's line," she said to her driver, "we could save all this bother." Her driver, suspecting nothing, allowed them to go as far as the first level crossing. A few days later, the weather changed. As the snow melted, the quarry grew busy again. Some trains were so long that before leaving the cars for Toby, Mavis had to go beyond the level crossing with them. Now for her plan. She would go further down the line without it seeming her fault. "Can you keep a secret?" she asked the cars. "Yes, yes," they clattered. "Will you bump me in the level crossing and tell no one I asked you?" The cars, surprised, promised. But while Mavis was away, Toby arrived. He decided to shun the cars himself. The cars decided to bump him anyways. They reached the level crossing, and Toby's brakes came on. This was the signal for the cars. "On, they yelled, giving him a fearful bump. Toby was away, with the cars screaming and yelling behind him. No one realized that melted snow had turned the stream ahead into a torrent, and the bridge above it was about to collapse. Oh well, that doesn't help. The rails were now like a tightrope across the thundering water. "Stop! Stop!" cried Toby. His driver fought for control. They came nearer and nearer to the bridge. It was all or nothing now. The driver braked hard. Toby stopped, still on the rails, but his wheels treaded the tightrope over the abyss. Mavis was horrified and quickly came to the rescue. Workmen anchored Toby with a rope while she pulled the freight cars away. Then, she helped Toby to safety. "I'm sorry about the cars," said Mavis. "I can't think how you managed to stop them in time." "Oh well," said Toby. "My driver told me about circus people who walked on tightropes, but I didn't fancy doing it myself." Later, Sir Topham had arrived. "A very smart piece of work," he said. "Mavis, you did well too, I hear." It was my fault about the cars, sir," she faltered. "But if I could..." "Could what?" "Come down the line sometime, sir. Toby says he'll show me what to do." Certainly," replied Sir Topham Hatt, "if your manager agrees." And so it was arranged. Now Mavis is as happy as she could be, and Sir Topham Hatt thinks she's a really useful engine indeed. Duck, the Great Western engine, worked hard in the yard at the big station. Sometimes, he pulled coaches. Sometimes he pushed freight cars. But whatever the work, Duck got the job done without a fuss. One day, Duck was resting in the sheds when Sir Topham Hatt arrived. "Your work in the yard has been good. Would you like a branch line to your own?" "Yes, please, sir," replied Duck. So, Duck took charge of his new branch line. The responsibility delighted him. The line runs along a coast by sandy beaches till it meets a port where big ships come in. Duck enjoyed exploring every curve and corner of the line. Sea breezes swirled his smoke high into the air, and his green paint glistened in the sun. "This is just like being on holiday," he puffed. "Well, you know what they say," laughed his driver. "A change is as good as a rest." Soon, Duck was busier than ever. Sir Topham Hatt was building a new station at the port. Duck pulled the heavy freight cars wherever they were needed. Birdie looked after Duck's passengers, and the other engines helped too. But the work took a long time. Noise and dust filled the air. "Don't worry," whistled Toby. "The station is nearly finished." "And on time, too," said Duck thankfully. Duck felt his responsibility deeply and talked endlessly about it. "You don't understand, Donald, how much Sir Topham Hatt relies on me." "Okay," muttered Donald sleepily. "You see, I'm Great Western and I—" "Quick, quick, quick." What?" "Ye heard? Quick, quick, ye go. Sounds like ye an ugly. Now wish and let an engine sleep." "Quack yourself," said Duck indignantly. Later, he spoke to his driver. "Donald says I quack, as if I've laid an egg." "Quack, do you?" pondered his driver. He whispered something to Duck and his driver. They were gonna play a joke on Donald and pay him back for teasing Duck. The engines were busy for the rest of the day, and nothing more was said. Not even a quack. But when at last Donald was asleep, Duck's driver and fireman popped something into his water tank. Next morning, when Donald stopped for water, he found that he had an unexpected passenger aboard. A small white duckling popped out of his water tank. "Now do who's behind this?" laughed Donald. The duckling was tame. She shared the fireman's sandwiches and rode in the tender. The other engines enjoyed teasing Donald about her. Presently, she grew tired of traveling and hopped off at a station, and there she stayed. That night, Donald's driver and fireman got busy. And in the morning, when Duck's crew arrived to look him over, they laughed and laughed. "Look, Duck, look what's under your bunker. It's a nest box with an egg in it." Donald opened a sleepy eye. "Well, well, well, you must have laid it in the night, Duck, all unbeknownst." Then Duck laughed too. "You win, Donald. It'd take a clever engine to get the better of you." There's a pond near the duckling station. Here she often swims and welcomes the trains as they pass by. The station master calls her Dilly, but to everyone else, she is always Donald's duck. Bill and Ben are tank engine twins. Each has 4 wheels, a tiny chimney and a dome, and a small squat cab. Their freight cars are full of china clay. It is needed for pottery, paper, paint, and many other things. The twins are always kept busy, pulling the cars for engines on the main line and for ships in the harbor. One morning, they arranged some cars and went away for some more. Hey, Bill, did you know there's a pair of hands behind us in this shot? Where? Right there, you idiot. Oh. They returned to find them all gone. The twins were most surprised. Their drivers examined a patch of oil. That's diesel, they said. It's a waddle, asked Bill. A Diseasel, I think, replied Ben. There's a notice about them in our shed. Oh yeah, cough and sneasel spread Diseasels. You had a cough in your smoke box yesterday. It's your fault the Diseasel came. It isn't. It is. Stop arguing, you two, laughed their drivers. Let's go and rescue our freight cars. Bill and Ben were horrified. But the Diseasel won't magic us away, like the freight cars. He won't magic us, replied their drivers. We're more likely to magic him. Listen, he doesn't know you're twins, so we'll take away your names and numbers, and this is what we'll do. Wait, you didn't explain anything. I feel like we've made this joke before. Puffing hard, the twins set off on their journey to find the Diesel. They were looking forward to playing tricks on him. Creeping into the yard, they found the Diesel on a siding with the missing cars. Ben hid behind, but Bill went boldly alongside. Hello? The Diesel looked up. Do you mind? Yes, said Bill. I do. I want my cars back. These are mine, said the Diesel. Go away. Bill pretended not to be frightened. You're a big bully, he whimpered. You'll be sorry. He ran back and hid behind the cars on the other side. Ben now came forward. Car stealer? hissed Ben. He ran away too. Bill took his place. Oil pisser! Green menace! Man, these jokes got watered down. What happened? We're not allowed to reference you-know-who anymore. He's right. Anyways, this went on and on, till the Diesel's eyes nearly popped out. Stop! You're making me giddy! The engines gazed at him. Are there two of you? Yes! We're twins! Ugh, I might have known it. Just then, Edward bustled up. Bill and Ben, why are you playing here? We're not playing, protested Bill. We're rescuing our cars, squeaked Ben. Even you don't take our cars without asking, but this Diseasel did. There's no cause to be rude, said Edward severely. This engine is a Metropolitan Vickers Diesel Electric Type 2. The twins were most impressed. We're sorry, Mr. Never mind, the Diesel smiled. Call me Boko. I'm sorry I didn't understand about the cars. That's all right, said Edward. Now, off you go, Bill and Ben. Fetch Boko's cars, then take this lot. You know, there's no real harm in them, he said to Boko, but they're maddening at times. Boko chuckled. Maddening, he said, is the word. Is the episode gonna end yet? Right now. It was a special holiday on the island of Sodor. Birdie the bus was working harder than ever before. All the engines were busy too. Hey, Thomas. F you!
Thomas hates duck theory.
Okay. Duck was waiting for his next journey. Near him stood a red bus, but he didn't look friendly like Birdie. The bus growled as he gazed at the happy passengers. Stupid nonsense, he grumbled. I wouldn't have brought him if I had known. I would have to break down or something. I'm glad you didn't, smiled Duck. You would have spoiled their fun. Bah! Enjoyment's all you engines ever lived for. One day, railways will be ripped up. Duck felt shocked at such an idea. We have a friend called Birdie, and he's a bus, but he likes the railways. Sometimes he teases us about it, but he'll never want to see it ripped up. Huh, growled the bus. I know Bertie. He's too small in size to be any use. Duck took no notice. That bus is silly, he thought as he steamed away. At the junction, Duck told Oliver all about him. I call him Bulgy, chuckled Oliver. And then he puffed happily away. But that afternoon, when the two engines met again, Oliver was no longer laughing. Duck, you are not going to believe this. Bulgy's friend has come, he said. He's rude too. He's taking Bulgy's passengers home and leaving Bulgy free to steal ours. But he can't, objected Duck. Well, apparently, Bulgy says he can get them to the big station before us. Rubbish, replied Duck. It's much further by road. Yeah, continued Oliver, but Bulgy says he knows a shortcut. What? That evening, the engines were preparing for the homeward rush. Where's all the passengers? They wondered. Look, shrilled Oliver. Look at Bulgy! Oh, he's a mean scarlet deceiver! Bulgy was wearing a large sign saying railway bus. Yeah, boosh, nubsh! He jeered as he roared away. Mother trucker, come on! Puffed Duck to his coaches. Let's see what he's up to. Duck wanted to get back at Bulgy, but he wasn't sure how. Wait, shouldn't the joke have been Mother Laurier? It's called wordplay, man. And besides, this is the US dub. It makes more sense for me to say that. Yeah, I guess that's true. Then, in the distance, Duck saw a man waving a red flag. That meant danger. The line here crossed a narrow road, and there was Bulgy wedged firmly under the bridge. So this was his shortcut, chuckled Duck. He tricked us, shouted Bulgy's passengers. He said he was a railway bus, but he wouldn't accept our return tickets. He wanted us to think railways are no good. Duck's crew examined the bridge. It's risky, but we must help the passengers. Passengers are urgent, agreed Duck. Duck slowly and carefully set off across the bridge. Bulgy wailed as he felt the bridge quiver. Stop! He shouted. It might fall on me! That would serve you right for telling lies, said Duck. But the bridge didn't collapse. Duck made good time, and all the passengers caught their trains. The bridge is now mended, but not, unfortunately, Bulgy in his ways. He never learned sense. He's a henhouse now, and his lies can do no harm. The hens never listen to them anyways, because they're hens, bro. Duh. In the summer, the work crews cut the long grass along the tracks, raking it into heaps to dry in the sun. At this time of year, Percy stops where they have been cutting. The men load up his empty wagons, and he pulls them to the station. Toby then takes them to the hills for the farmers to feed their stock.
Jesus Christ, man.
Percy gave a ghostly whistle.
Don't be frightened, Thomas, he laughed. It's only me.
Your ugly fizz is enough to frighten anyone, said Thomas.
You're like ugly indeed. I'm
a green caterpillar with red stripes, continued Thomas firmly. You crawl like one too.
I don't.
Who's been late every afternoon this week?
It's the hay.
I can't help that, said Thomas. Time's time, though, and Sir Topham Hatt relies on me to keep it. I can't if you crawl in the hay until all hours.
Green caterpillar, indeed.
He quickly set off to collect some hay to take to the harbor.
Everyone says I'm handsome, or at least nearly everyone. Anyways, my curves are better than Thomas's corners. Thomas always says I'm late, he grumbled. I'm never late. Or at least only a few minutes. What's that to Thomas? He can always make up time later.
All the same, he and his driver decided to start home early. Then came trouble.
Huh? Oh! Ah!
A crate of treacle was upset all over Percy. Percy was cross.
Oh, what would Thomas say if he saw me like this?
He was still sticky when he puffed away. The wind was blowing fiercely.
Look at that!
Exclaimed the driver. The wind caught the piles of hay, tossing it up and over the tracks. The line climbed here. Take a run at it, Percy, his driver advised. Percy gathered speed, but the hay made the rails slippery and his wheels wouldn't grip properly. Time after time, he stalled with spinning wheels and had to wait until the line ahead was cleared before he could start again. Everyone was waiting. Thomas seethed impatiently. 10 minutes late. I warned him. Oh, the passengers are bound to complain. And Sir Topham Hatt. Just then, they all saw Percy. They laughed and shouted.
Sorry I'm late,
Percy panted. Well, look what's crawled out of the hay, teased Thomas.
What's wrong?
Asked Percy. Talk about a hairy caterpillar, puffed Thomas. It's worth being late to have seen you. When Percy got home, his driver showed him what he looked like in the mirror.
What the f***? No wonder they all laughed. I am just like a woolly bear. Oh, well, can you please clean me before Toby comes?
But it was no good. Thomas told Toby all about it. Instead of talking about sensible things, like playing Ghost, Thomas and Toby made jokes about woolly bear caterpillars and other creatures which crawled about in hay. They laughed a lot, but Percy thought they were being very silly indeed. Thomas the Tank Engine was feeling very happy. His blue coat shone in the sun. He was right on time, and all around his branch line, the countryside seemed prettier than ever before. Good morning, Percy, he whistled. My branch is the pride of the line. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, Thomas, of course, but...
But what, Percy? Out with it.
Well, there is another engine with a famous branch line, too.
Who? Where?
His name's Stepney. He's far away, but Sir Topham Hatt says he may visit us.
When?
Oh, someday.
And Percy hurried away. Meanwhile, Stepney puffed steadily along his line. It wasn't very long, and that made him feel a little sad. Later, he saw Rusty, the little diesel who had saved him from scrap. Everyone's been so kind, but my railway is so short that I do miss a good long run. Perhaps you should tell your driver, replied Rusty. I'm sure he'll understand. Stepney soon discovered that indeed he did too. Do you know, Stepney, I feel the same way. That evening, he had exciting news. Guess what, Stepney? Sir Topham Hatt has invited us to visit the other engines on his own railway. The manager's already agreed, and it'll already be a really long run to get there. Oh, thank you, sighed Stepney. They set off the next morning. By now, all the other engines were talking about Stepney.
I've heard a lot about
And, yeah, he runs a famous branch line. Did you know that?
Said Percy.
It's just an engine.
Thomas was feeling a little jealous.
Thomas doesn't like
Huh, it may be famous, but my branch line is the first on the line. Everyone knows that, too. And he huffed off to fetch his coaches.
His story isn't even really moved. I mean,
Look, squeaked Percy. Why have they all come? There's no train yet.
And Trevor.
But Percy was wrong. The signal dropped. And from far away, an engine whistled. Oh, here he comes! Stepney puffed proudly through the junction. Hello. I hope you'll meet Thomas too, said Edward. You both have branch lines to be proud of. Then, Stepney set off to help duck shunt coaches in the yard. And they worked happily together all afternoon. At last, Thomas arrived. Sorry I can't talk. It's time for my last branch line train. I mustn't be late. He was hardly out of sight when the engines heard a shout at the station. Moments later came the alarm. Stop all trains! The signalman answered the telephone. A special, is it? I see. Thomas was impatient. Why are we waiting? My passengers are being delayed. Sorry, Thomas, said his driver. We've been shunted to allow another train to pass. Ugh. Soon, they heard an unfamiliar puffing sound. There was Stepney with his headlamp swinging and his whistle blowing. He gathered speed and disappeared. Well, bust my boiler, said Thomas the Tank Engine. The next morning, he was still fuming. Shunted, and on my own branch line too. It's a disgrace. Oh, I'm sorry, said Stepney. I was a special. Why? An important passenger arrived just as you left. He ordered a special train, and Duck let me take it. We had a splendid run, but, finished Thomas, it can make an engine nervous not to know the line. Exactly, said Stepney. You're such an expert. Thomas felt much better. He couldn't be cross anymore, and began telling Stepney all about his branch line. Snow came early to the island of Sodor. It was heavier than usual. Most engines hate the snow. Donald and Douglas were used to it. Coupled back to back with a van between their tenders and a snowplow on their fronts, they set to work. They puffed backwards and forwards, patrolling the line. Generally, the snow slipped away fiercely, but sometimes they found deeper drifts. Presently, they came to a drift which was larger than most. They charged it, and were just backing for another try when, "Ooh! Ooh! Law sakes, Donald! It's Henry! Don't worry yourself, Henry! Wait a while, we'll have you out!" Henry was very grateful. He saw all was not well. The twins were looking glum. They told him Sir Topham Hatt was making a decision. "He'll send one of us away for sure."
It's a shame,
said Percy. "A lot of nonsense about a broken signal box," grumbled Gordon. "That spiteful brake van too," put in James. "Good riddance, that's what I say." "The twins were splendid in the snow," added Henry. "It isn't fair." They all agreed that something must be done, but none knew what. Percy decided to talk to Edward about it.
What you need,
said Edward, is a deputation. He explained what that was. Percy ran back quickly. Guys! Edward says we need a depot station." "Of course," said Gordon. "The question is, what is a desperation?" asked Henry.
It's when engines tell Sir Topham Hatt something's wrong, said Percy.
"Did you say, tell Sir Topham Hatt?" asked Duck thoughtfully. There was a long silence. You know what? I propose, said Gordon, that Percy be our, disputation.
Me? Squeaked Percy. I can't.
Rubbish, Percy, said Henry. It's easy. Then that's settled then, said Gordon. Poor Percy wished it wasn't. Hello, Percy. It's nice to be back. Percy jumped.
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
You look nervous, Percy. What's the matter?
Police, sir. They made me a desperation, sir, to speak to you, sir. I don't like it, sir.
Sir Topham Hatt pondered. Did you mean a deputation, Percy?
Yes, sir. Please, sir. It's Donald Douglas, sir. They say, sir, that if you send them away, sir, well, then that'll turn them into scraps, sir. That would be dreadful, sir. Please don't send them away, sir. Please.
Thank you, Percy. That'll do. Later, Sir Topham Hatt spoke to the engines. I had a deputation. I understand your feelings, and I've given a lot of thought into the matter. He paused impressively. Donald and Douglas, I hear that your work in the snow was good. You shall have a new coat of paint. The twins were surprised.
Thank you, sir.
But your names will be painted on you. We will have no more mistakes.
Thank you, sir. Does that mean, sir, that the both of us?
Sir Topham Hatt smiled. It means... But the rest of his speech was drowned in a delighted chorus of cheers and whistles. The twins were here to stay. Did anyone hear what I said? It was 2 days before Christmas. Many children were expected on the island of Sodor. All the engines were busy with the final preparations. Sir Topham Hatt wanted this year's carol parties to be an extra special celebration. Sir Topham Hatt was now waiting impatiently for Thomas. Quickly now, he said. Our Christmas tree has arrived just in time. I want you to fetch it, Thomas. Duck can look after Annie and Clarabelle until you get back." "Will we be able to sing carols too?" asked Thomas. "We'll see," promised Sir Topham Hatt. "It'll be lovely to sing carols again," sighed Thomas, as he set off on his important mission. Thomas collected the tree safely, but large snowdrifts lay ahead. Wait, no.
I mustn't be late.
He thought.
Sir Topham Hatt is relying on me.
Whistling bravely, Thomas tried to move, but he couldn't. There was worse to come.
Wait, no.
Thomas was snowed under. Meanwhile, the other engines waited and waited. They were grumbling about Thomas for being late. "Silence," said Sir Topham Hatt. "Thomas left the work safely, but snow has brought the telephone lines down. We must assume he is stranded." The engines now felt sorry for Thomas. And cold but confident, the twins set off to the rescue. Suddenly, they came to a drift that was deeper than the rest. "Hush," said Donald. "I could hear something." "Probably the wind," said Douglas. "No, listen," insisted Donald. "Over here!" "Oh, it's Thomas. Come on, the poor wee engine must be frozen to the frames in there." When the workmen arrived, it took some time to decide how to dig away the heavy snowdrifts. Thomas's driver and fireman, who had taken shelter at a nearby cottage, joined the rescue. At last, Thomas and his precious Christmas tree were free from the snowdrifts. Then they set off at once more to finish their long journey. Sir Topham Hatt greeted them warmly. "As a reward for all your hard work, you may go and enjoy the carols. Be quick now." Hooray! At the station, all were soon ready. 1, 2, 3. Suddenly, like magic, the station was flooded with lights. "Ladies and gentlemen, children and engines, I give you 3 cheers for Thomas the Tank Engine and all of his friends who made this occasion possible." Then, there was a familiar whirring sound. Percy and Toby smiled. They knew who this was. With landing lights showing brightly, Harold the helicopter touched down gently in the snow, bringing the greatest surprise of all. Santa Claus!
"Oh, he's real."
Everyone cheered and the party began. "It's no fun getting stuck in the snow," whispered Thomas to Percy, "but it was dang worth it for this party. Happy holiday, Percy. Happy holiday, everyone." As you go from day to day, looking for a better way, and you think you've got it all under control. So you bend the rules a bit as you try to make things fit, but you know you should be doing as you're told. Although sometimes you'll find it so hard, and the wrong way may seem easier. It doesn't matter who you are. Obey the rules and you'll go far. You'll go far. We all live by rules and regulations. Rules and regulations now. Isn't it a bore? Isn't it a chore? Sometimes it's so hard remembering all those strict rules, codes, laws, all the stipulations, rules and regulations now. But without those rules and regulations, where would we be now? So you see, you have to try and do the right thing every time. If you do, then you will come to the conclusion. There is right and there is wrong, and the rules help you along, and they're really only there for your protection. Although sometimes you'll find it so hard, and the wrong way may seem easier. It doesn't matter who you are. Obey the rules and you'll go far. You'll go far. We all live by rules and regulations. Rules and regulations now. Isn't it a bore? Isn't it a chore? Sometimes it's so hard remembering all those strict rules, codes, laws, all the stipulations, rules and regulations now. But without those rules and regulations, where would we be now? We all live by rules and regulations now. Isn't it a bore? Isn't it a chore? Sometimes it's so hard remembering all those strict rules, codes, laws, all the stipulations, rules and regulations now. But without those rules and regulations, where would we be now?